showtime.
It's showtime. Here we go.
Welcome into another episode of the Movie Geek Podcast. I'm your host, George T., and this is the weekend box office report. And boy, it was kind of an interesting weekend box office. I did see one of the movies that is in the top 5 this weekend. I will drop that review on Thursday, and then finally I'll get to drop the Frankenstein one probably Friday, maybe 2 on Thursday. I'm not sure how we'll play this out, but most likely it'll probably be Friday. And then might drop some more episodes, but not entirely sure how much time I'm going to have to do that. Also making shorts out because it seems that the views go up when shorts go out. So trying to get all of that content in and so on. But I want to mention, if you are new to this channel, like, subscribe, comment if you would. It would be appreciated. All right, before we get into the weekend box office, I just want to say, for those who have been following this for a while now and have watched my friend Jennifer Nangle and Charles Ciabatta, who were a guest on at the beginning of this year, her Queen Malvalia series, season 8, has been tremendous this year. I was very happy to be able to, get her Indigo started and really got behind it. I was able to contribute, and she has her Halloween special, which is usually the culmination of her seasons. It has won 5 awards, so Jennifer is quite talented, and if you haven't seen any of that or aren't following her, her link is on my page, so go and check out her stuff, and also Charles too. So big ups to them as they cleaned up in the Zed Film Festival Award. All right, so let us get to the box office report. So last week's 1, 2, and 3 fell 3, 4, and 5 respectively. So let's look at it. Black Phone 2, it made 2.7. It was 5th. Regarding You, 4th at 5 million. Predator Badlands dropped out of the top spot, obviously, made $13 million. And then Running Man, 17 million in number 2 spot. And like I said, number 1 was very surprising. Now You See Me, Now You Don't, at 21.3 million. So I was very surprised at that. I figured because it was a pretty good couple of movies, I didn't think that it was going to have enough power to overtake either Running Man or Predator. I thought it would be in the top 5 probably, but audiences seem to love it, and audiences are loving Predator, and mixed reviews on Running Man, and again, I'll get to all that in my Running Man review. So yeah, that is the strange part about it, because with the 3rd movie in this Now You See Me trilogy, and being spread out, I would have thought it wouldn't have garnered that kind of generally. But I don't think it's going to matter come this weekend, because we all know it's opening this weekend, and I'll get to all that toward the very end of this episode. It looks like this weekend, and starting today, Wednesday, that Netflix has got a ton of stuff dropping this week. So they've got a documentary on Selena, on her life and her tragic death. It looks like a very good documentary, so I would definitely recommend seeing that. The Son of a Thousand Men is a Portuguese film. This also drops on Netflix. A lonely 40-year-old fisherman dreams of being a father and meets Camilo, an orphan boy, and they are brought together by fate, and they form an unconventional family, and together they discover life and love outside of this unconventional pairing. So Netflix has got two out on that today. Also on Friday, they're dropping The Stinger. It's also a documentary. This is The Stinger, the Man Who Took the Photo. This is about the Vietnam War photo, affectionately known as the Napalm Girl. And this documentary is looking for the truth behind the photo, who really came up with the idea, or how were they able to capture this photo. It's a very iconic photo, and it leads to a whole mess of things. So that is coming out this weekend. So that it looks pretty good. Train Dreams. I believe this made a run at least 1 week in the box office at the beginning of this month. It is one movie that I will probably get to see this weekend as well. Just a reminder, it's Joel Edgerton, William H. Macy, Felicity Jones. A man has been living in the country for all of his life, when the turn of the century comes, and all new changes are coming to the land that he is grown up on. So it looks really good, and again, that might be something I will drop this week, or definitely next week. Let's see. We have on Apple TV, we have Family Plan 2. This is the Mark Wahlberg sequel with Michelle Monaghan. And it is Dan, who is played by Mark, has planned the perfect vacation for his family to celebrate overseas until a mysterious figure from his past shows up with unfinished business. So if you saw the original movie, you will understand that Dan was trying to go on the straight and narrow with his family, and then he does, and obviously in this movie there's some unfinished business that needs to be taken care of. So all right, so now we've got a list of documentaries that are coming out in short, in a very limited release. The Zodiac Killer Project. So this is a documentary, obviously all about the Zodiac Killer, and just piecing and puzzling things together. And it's for anyone who has watched any of the documentaries, or even TV films about the Zodiac Killer, this will be an interesting documentary. And again, they do a lot of these documentaries all the time. It has become now more prominent now. If you've noticed, like Netflix has now the Monster series. Basically, they did Ed Gein. They just did Alina, the first woman serial killer. She was portrayed by Charlize Theron in Monster. years ago. I think it was 2008, and that was a really good movie. I mean, she went through a lot of stuff, and yeah, I mean, it you would turn probably serial killer if you had to deal with that stuff. I'm joking, of course. And then there's another documentary, Cutting Through Rocks. This is about Sarah Sharada, the first female counselor in her Iranian village, challenges traditions uh, by a lot of stuff, by challenging all of the rules, and fighting for underage child marriage, women to ride motorcycles. There's a lot of those rules where you're like, wow, like, do women have any freedom in Iran? So she was challenging those ideals, and so it looks like another very powerful documentary. It will be interesting to see what documentaries get nominated in any of the major award shows this year, because there have been so many good ones. I've seen a ton, and I didn't mention this at the beginning, but I will review my thoughts on Being Eddie at the end of this show, and I didn't mention it at the beginning, but so another movie that's coming out in very limited release, Cactus Pears. This is a West Indian film. A family consecrates the loss of the patriarch with a 10-day mourning period that strains the relationships during a grieving period, coexisting with local rituals and hidden desires materialize in a rekindling friendship with childhood companion. So, obviously, the cultural things about funerals, I guess, in West India. So it is going to be in very limited release. So check it out if you're interested. Then there's a sci-fi movie coming out, Alerted. This stars Tom Felton from Harry Potter fame. In an alternative present, genetically enhanced humans dominate society. Outcasts Len and Cleo fight for justice against corrupt politician exploiting genetic disparity, risking everything to challenge the oppressive system. So, another action sci-fi, uprising of genetically altered humans. We've done this a lot. It always seems to be a good thing, right? When we alter humans. All right, so that is what we've got this weekend in very limited releases, and then we have also SISU Road to Revenge. I never saw the first one. It just looks like a Mad Max meets like Fury, and it looks so crazy. Korapi is his first name. Dismantles the house where his family was murdered and loads it all into a truck to rebuild it somewhere safe, but soon finds himself in a violent cross-country chase as the Red Army commander who killed his family comes back to finish the job on him. So, like I said, it looks like a Mad Max type thing. Obviously not in a dystopian kind of universe, but just a crazy ride. A lot of explosions and so on. And then the two big movies, although one is obviously bigger than the other one, this one was huge at um, a few of the film festivals this year. Um, and Brendan Fraser is looking at maybe another Oscar nob for this portrayal. So this is called Rental Family. Struggling to find a purpose, an American actor lands in an unusual gig with a Japanese agency to play a stand uh, in the lives for strangers. He begins to form a genuine bond that blurs the lines between performance and reality, confronting the moral uh, complacency of his work. He soon rediscovers purpose, belonging, and the quiet beauty of the human connection. So he was asked to be like a stand-in, uh, like caretaker or father in this case, and he thought he didn't have much purpose, and then starts to rediscover his humanity, his real purpose in life, and it does look good. I really think he will get a nod uh, for this movie, and yeah, I you know we'll see how it does in the box office this weekend. Um, Again, up against probably next week's number one, which is going to be probably Wicked for Good. If you saw the first one, then you are dying for this one, and it comes out on Friday, and basically, it is now the outright war between good and evil. Uh, you know, the Wicked Witch of the West now has to fight off the angry mobs and is trying to reunite with the Good Witch to try to transform herself and all of Oz for good. So this looks as good as the first one does, and I will not be surprised if this movie makes a killing at the box office and basically blows doors on all of the films this weekend. Even last week's, number one, the following week's number one, etc. I really think this will do wonders, and this will lead into that Thanksgiving day. There's going to be a ton of movies, but I think they're going to be more on the low key side. I think they're going to give Wicked a little bit of a run here at number one. I would be shocked if it is not number one in the box office for 2 weeks in a row. That's just my opinion, but crazier things have happened this year with the box office. I mean, it really has. I mean, Taylor Swift was number one at the box office one weekend. Some of these anime movies have been number one. You know, even just recently, Black Phone 2, up and down. Number one week, down to 3, back to 1. It's just, it's been helter skelter all year with the box office. I mean, yes, there was clearly weeks that you knew number one, but like I said, just go back to some of the thumbnails that I have. It's just been that kind of a year, and it's good to see that multiple or movies that you think were going to be number one aren't number one, and so on. I was looking through my list of movies that I did at the very beginning, the first episode of season 2, when we got this video and monitor hookup and everything else, the new computer. And I can't wait to do that at the end of the year. I will probably do a 2-part series. 1, my top 25 movies of the year, and 2 will be how the movies I listed all kind of fared out, or I might be able to link them all together. I'm not sure, but I got time because we still got like what a month and a half left, and so on. This year I'll be able to do favorite top Christmas films of all time. Maybe an episode on some movies that you didn't know were actually filmed during Christmas time. I know everybody has their say on if Die Hard is uh, a Christmas movie, but there are other movies too that kind of sneaky are Christmas movies that you don't normally say, but for some reason, Die Hard is the only one anybody brings up and goes, "Is it a Christmas movie?" I'll let you guys decide that when we get there. All right, so that is the weekend box office report. Again, like I said, I would be very shocked if Wicked does not um, be number one for 2 weeks in a row, because I don't believe there's anything really strong next weekend. I think it is one weekend after that when we start to get into that. And December is kind of fluid because it is the kind of the big push to get movies from the film festivals in time for Oscar voting and so on. I will also have previews of the major uh, movie award shows. Not all of them. Like there's so many. There's a ton of actors, writers, movie, just small independent ones. I'm just going to focus on the major ones: SAG Awards, Critics' Choice, Oscars, um, and People's Choice. Those are the four main ones that I would focus on. So I will, once we get the nominations in, I will do a whole report on that, and then I'll try to have to see what I haven't seen and try to give my predictions on it. I do Oscar predictions. If you haven't seen those the last two years, I did really well in season one. Season two, I did pretty decent too. I missed two the year before. The year before, I only missed one, and that one was more a heart pick than what it was. That was the year I thought Amber Thunder Moon was going to win, but Emma Stone wound up winning. And I think I'd mentioned, well, if Amber doesn't win and it's Emma Stone, I wouldn't be upset about it. But I just thought it was Amber's time. So we'll see how it goes this year. But my money is on Sinners to win Best Picture. Again, I've seen a lot of good movies, seen a lot of bad movies, but Sinners right now still is on it. I died on the hill of Civil War last year, and it didn't even get nominated. No noms for Civil War in anything, which really ticked me off about it. But I won't be wrong with Sinners here. I can't imagine that thing does not win a ton of awards this year. So, all right. So I didn't really mention at the beginning, but here is my review on Being Eddie. A very good documentary on Eddie Murphy. He is a very funny guy. And another guy, very much like John Candy, he was not big on the spotlight. It really hits home when you watch this that he really talks about being one of the first black comedians to star in films, and at the height that he was able to, but he was able to step away from all of the chaos around him. He mentions he was 19 when he got on Saturday Night Live, and he saw guys like Belushi and so many others that he worked with that were doing drugs and alcohol, and he stayed away from it. He knew if he was going out with these guys, he was cutting out early. He said it. He knew those guys were going to be out there partying it up, and he would just go in, and he would, uh, he would stay for a bit, and then he would leave. So, and he was just one of those guys that loved his popularity, but to a certain point as well. Like he felt more at home. He loved being a comedian first and foremost. The rest of the stuff was stuff that he had to deal with that he didn't really like to deal with. So he tried to stay out of the public. Um, you know, and then they were talking about that his being casted as a black actor in certain roles where he was a leading man, and Beverly Hills Cop was one of the films in question. They weren't sure that they wanted Eddie to be the lead actor. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that one was supposed to be for Richard Pryor. I believe that was one. There's so many things that that went on throughout that episode, but his major thing was he always wanted to be Richard Pryor, and so he winds up being in Beverly Hills Cop, and studios weren't really sure they were going to make money off of an unknown actor like Eddie. I mean, he was known from Saturday Night Live, but he wasn't a movie actor at that time. And look at the success it had. It made, 3 movies, and then they just did another one last year, which I reviewed, which wasn't good. Sorry, Eddie, but it wasn't that good. But Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2 were so iconic for him, and then it just started snowballing from there, where he was just on top of the world. And and again, his biggest message was he he really kind of hated that spotlight, because again, there were a lot of guys that around him that were dying in that spotlight, with all the outside noise of Hollywood, people drinking and doing drugs, and listening to press like, oh, this guy sucks. And Eddie had that for a short period of time. After major success, he started to step away from the action roles. He wanted to do family movies, and it kind of got a little hairy for him there. Critics hated it, but he loved doing them. But it was the criticism that oh, Eddie's lost a step or whatever. And Eddie was like, well, I never really lost a step. It's just my choices in movies may have brought me down a little bit, but I still know who I am. So again, it is a really good documentary. There is a ton of material in there. There is a funny story about Beverly Hills Cop where the scene where he's walking down the street and the 2 guys in the leather outfits are walking by him, and he starts laughing. Now, that was not in the script. That was not in the script. So people interpreted that as Eddie was making fun of himself, because years prior, he he was up on stage doing Raw, which is a stand-up comedy show, in a full red leather outfit. So the director, when he saw him starting to laugh, left it in. Again, it wasn't scripted, so a lot of people interpreted that he was laughing at those guys for, or himself, saying, "Wow, I really wore that once." Eddie in this film says that he actually wasn't laughing at himself; he was laughing at the guy in the suit. And the reason why was he knew he was walking by him, but he had said something to him on the way by, and it was his general reaction to start laughing, because he thought, okay, if I laugh, they'll cut it out and I'll just walk by him again. But they left it in because it was pretty funny. So again, there's been so many documentaries, so many good documentaries, that it's very hard to really talk about these things without without seeing them, really. So me trying to explain it, like the John Candy one was incredible. If you haven't seen that one, go to Amazon Prime and watch it. My review on it was it was powerful. And again, a lot of these documentaries, so I cannot wait for award season to see which ones get nominated and which ones kind of get left off the table. But I mean, there's just so many. I mean, go to Netflix right now, there's a whole ton of documentaries on there. HBO Max has got a bunch. Amazon Prime's got, I mean, every one has some good documentaries. So yeah, it'll be hard to nominate this year, I think, for documentaries. All right, that is all for this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. Like and comment if you would so choose to, and I will see you all at the movies.
You like that, baby? Let him know where I came from, yeah!
See you next time. Bye.
Waiting for you. Goodbye. 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 Hasta la vista, baby.
That's all, folks.